Officials of the asbestos companies knew in the 1940s and the 1950s that asbestos could cause cancer, and in the 1960s they were very well aware that asbestos exposure could cause mesothelioma. But it wasn't until the late 1960s or the early 1970s that these companies ever placed warning labels on their products.
Finally, in 1972, when the Occupational Safety and Health Administration was established, the first substance it regulated was asbestos.
Virtually impossible for any employer to use asbestos in the workplace to an extent where there was visible dust, which meant that as a result, pipe coverings that contained asbestos, asbestos cements, and all of the various dusty products that asbestos was used in ceased to be commercially viable anymore.
By the early 1980s, companies like Brickley Environmental in San Bernardino, California, have worked on the remediation of asbestos in schools, office buildings, banks, airports, and other commercial use facilities.
The material that we're actually going to be removing today is the acoustical ceiling texture, which is above us. This material contains asbestos. The process for removal will be to get the containment set up, negative pressure installed, which you can see down at the end of the hallway down there.
The negative pressure system sucks air out of the work area through a series of filters and discharges that air outside, creating a negative pressure in the work area, which ensures that asbestos fibers cannot escape the containment.
Once that negative pressure is established, the containment is set up, decon is set up, the crew will suit up, put on respirators, come in, wet this material down, and manually begin scraping it. As they scrape the material, they'll package it, bag it, and process it for final disposal.
Despite the efforts to reduce the amount of asbestos manufactured and used in the United States, the asbestos crisis is far from over.
Asbestos products continued to be sold today. Many people think that asbestos has been banned, but in fact, there is no ban of asbestos products.
As long as asbestos remains in the air we breathe, asbestos cases will remain in the courts.
And because of the numbers of people who have been injured by the inhalation of asbestos, we have hundreds of thousands of cases pending in the court system.
Thousands of men and women who built our country in the decades following World War II have already paid the price.